Hi, my name is Cold Beer, and let me tell you about Ardenfall. I was eyeballing the game for a long time now. I think I made a video called 9 upcoming games like Skyrim in 2022, and I put Ardenfall as the first game in the list. And what do you know, they went completely silent after that. I was pretty much sure that the project had died, developers disbanded, and we won't be hearing about it anymore. And a few days ago, boom, I saw an email with an invitation to try the playtest version of Ardenfall on Steam. Wait, what? It's back? Yeah, it's not only back, but now also has a release date next year. So I just had to try it and see if it's actually good. I'm definitely not a fan of these polygon graphics, but the moment I started to play the game, I realized that I was completely fine with them. The lighting is great, details, weirdly enough, are nice as well, and I understand that for a small studio to create an open world like Morrowind is no joke, so I won't be bashing the visuals this time. For an indie game of this scale, they are completely okay. Would I want the next Elder Scrolls game to look like this? Absolutely no, but indie developers have way more wiggle room to not anger the crowd. And you know, this graphic style has one amazing benefit you probably never thought about. The playtest version takes only 1 GB of space, so I guess the whole game will be like 5 or something. Another reason why it's so light is also because it lacks voice acting. You just have to read everything like we did in Morrowind. I don't mind, there is not very much of text anyway. The main focus here is on exploration and combat, and I can say that both of these features are made very nicely. If you take your time and go off the beaten road, there is a huge chance that you will stumble on some hidden treasure, stronger monster with great loot, or just cool views from above. The game has various mechanics that allow you to climb high, like special places giving you jumping power, magic air bubbles that take you to the sky islands, and so on. And the feeling of finding such places is very rewarding and fun. The playtest allowed me to roam in the world for around an hour and a half, and a bigger part of the gameplay I spent in the dungeon. Only then I realized that this game is a work of passion. After playing Oblivion Remastered, I still had this feeling of boring, same looking places under the ground, like almost copy-pasted Ayleid ruins and small caves with boring textures. So I wasn't expecting a huge, interesting dungeon place from a small indie game that was dead for 3 years. It shows that they did their job right. You know, the dungeon could be smaller and nobody would ever say anything, but it is big and nice.
That's what she said.
Yeah, I spent like 25 minutes in it, compared with usual around 10 minutes clearing Ayleid ruins in Oblivion. Of course, I found nothing like Skyrim's Black Reach, that huge underground place with a small city and glowing mushrooms. But after trying the playtest, I can actually hope that we will find something like this in the full version of the game. The premise is here, so they better use that to impress us even more. And the enemies I encountered in Ardenfall were terrifying. Like, what the hell is this thing? Look how I kill it, and after that his horrendous head flies at me like a monster bat from hell. Do they want me to start stuttering or something? Since when it is a horror game? Well, it's not. It's an explore, shoot and loot kind of experience, but these encounters somehow were actually terrifying. Crazy crabs popping out of the dirt, rolling centipedes emerging out of the grass, plants that want you dead. This world is deadly. And as you can see, I went with the most popular builds of Skyrim and Oblivion. Stealth and archery combo never disappointed me, and it worked just fine here. I think it would be way more difficult to slay your enemies at close range, because their hits are very strong. You can of course dodge them, but in the midst of the battle I never took even a glance at my stamina. I was spamming the button until I was allowed to dodge, and that kinda worked just fine. Although a timer for dodge would be way better than stamina bar in general. Nobody likes a stamina bar. Like, hey Dan, do you want to go to a bar?
Sure, Cold Beer. Which one?
A stamina bar.
I hate you, man.
True story. Anyway, Ardenfall also gives you quests, teaches you magic, lockpicking, and all the things you remember from the Elder Scrolls games. They also said in an email that even the playtest has 5 different endings, but I just got one by accident and I have no idea what the other 4 are. Won't spoil you anything. The release date is approaching us uncontrollably fast. Well, I hope they won't disappear for 3 more years. So far, early access is promised in the first part of 2026. Let's hope they will fulfill that promise. In general, what I liked the most was that me, being 41 years old dude, I didn't find the game too hard or frustrating to play. You have no idea how many games I install and almost immediately uninstall when I die in the first 5 minutes. I have no idea why so many developers are trying to make their games so hard to beat. Why must everything be on the level of Dark Souls? My ideal design of gameplay is an easy beginning and hard to beat end. It's so simple, but yet people forget this recipe all the time. I don't mind spending a lot of time beating a boss mid-game, but I don't want simple mobs to feel like bosses. I remember installing Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order and being killed by some rat in the beginning of the game. Questions arise: are you actually a powerful Jedi meant to save the galaxy from evil if some Raden kills you without a sweat? It makes zero sense. I know I'm bad at games like that, but a powerful Jedi dying from a bite he failed to dodge is ridiculous. Luckily, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order had a story mode difficulty implemented, so instead of deleting the game and forgetting about it, I conquered my enemies like a truly powerful Jedi and kept telling everyone about this wonderful game as if it was sponsored, and it never was. I just pay my respects to this Souls-like game that actually thought about players who don't want to treat every mob like a boss. So in Ardenfall I was close to death several times, but it never felt like it was impossible to avoid or that it was above my capabilities. If I failed to avoid the hit, it felt like my fault, not like a game tricking me with some sucker punch move. I saw the attack was incoming, I was slow, but I will do better next time. And I did. I know that a lot of dudes who watch my channel are like me, and that shit is important to us. So Ardenfall felt like a game made for our pleasure and not for our suffering. That is super important to me and I like it very much. One more important feature that absolutely blew my mind was sound and music. Absolutely top tier AAA level. Yeah, it lacks voiceover features and I guess until they get a serious sponsor that will stay that way, but sounds and music are absolutely at the top level. Honestly, when I finished the playtest, I wanted to play more. Like, hey, I will pay if you let me explore for another hour. Sadly, that wasn't the case. As I approached the next area, game showed me a trailer and asked me to wishlist it. And I did, and I suggest you to do the same if you like open world RPG games. This may be a hidden gem you are looking for. In the full game we are promised a cool questline, various factions and their quests, a massive world filled with adventure and dangers. So being impatient as I am, I tried to sneak into the next level anyway. I swam by the shore, but I was stopped. Then I tried to climb on the top of the entrance cave and sneak into the next area that way, but no luck as well. You know, I can literally see the city next door, but the access was denied. Alright, that is a very good sign. Most of the times I drop the playtests or demos way before I reach their end. So I would say that this is a time for a verdict, but I can't actually rate the game. I played only for an hour and a half or so, but instead I can say that it is cool enough that I would probably have bought it immediately after the playtest. And I must mention that this is not a sponsored video, I'm just happy with what I saw. Also, depending on when you are watching this video, on Steam you may still get an invite if you ask for access at the games page. Try that, maybe you will get lucky to test the game as well. And now thank you for watching, have a nice day, and I'll see you next time. Bye! Subscribe to